Another e-bike review coming at you live from the Inja compound. Today we're taking a look at the Honbike. This is an ultra compact, foldable, shaft-driven electric bike. And it's not very big, obviously, but it has some pretty cool engineering in it. It's not super over-spec'd. It's a very light, very compact bike. So it's only got a 200-watt motor and a 6.2 AH battery. But apparently it still does like 16, 17 miles per hour and goes 25 miles of range. At least that's what they claim on their website. Today, I am here to either debunk or prove that those specs are correct. So let's just get the Honbike out of the box and see what we're looking at. Apparently it got like Best Design Bike 2021. It is a pretty sweet looking bike. I'm actually pumped to see some of the engineering in this bike. First shaft driven bike I have seen, and it's probably one of the first shaft driven bikes on the market. I don't know. Anyway, let's just get this thing out of the box and just see what we're looking at. Let's do it. All right, so here it is. This is the Honbike, and it has a lot of really cool features and functions on it that I have never seen on any other e-bikes. Now, obviously, this is a brand new model. I mean, I think it's, as I'm currently speaking, I think it's on Indiegogo right now, and it hasn't entered full production yet. I could be wrong, it could be in production, but I'm just saying it's a very, very new model bike. So let me just walk you around this really quick and show you the really unique engineering features that it has. Obviously, first and foremost is the center locking wheels. They just call it a one-side fork. Obviously, that's the front. The back is shaft-driven, center locking wheels, super cool. And so you guys can see how cool that looks right there. The seat is also a very different design than I've ever seen. I'm hoping that it's comfortable. The one-side fork over here as well, very cool looking. And you have the battery pack right here, 6.2 amp hours. So it's nothing huge. This is a 200-watt motor, and I don't think it is able to be ridden on a throttle. I haven't seen a throttle here, so I'm sure it's just pedal assisted. But for something like this, I'm not gonna complain. This is obviously more of a bike designed for kind of pedaling it around. And then coming up here, you guys can see the brakes are a lot different than a normal bicycle as well. They're on the outside, which is kind of cool. I mean, it gives you a little bit of hand protection if you do hit something or fall or something. Yeah, I've never seen something like that, so that's pretty cool. So here you go, this is the screen, and this is the type of screen that doesn't flicker on camera, so I really like that. It's super easy to look at, super easy on your eyes. It sounds kind of nerdy probably, but I think that's really cool that they have a nice screen on it. Even though obviously it's pretty simple, it's still a nice looking screen. You know, it's easy on the eyes to look at. If you hold down this button here, you can turn on the headlight. Looks like it's decently bright. I'll have to test that at night, obviously. Also, this bike is foldable, and it's very, very compact when it's foldable. It's 20-inch wheels, and they're very thin. I mean, you guys could just see how thin this bike is. So you can really stick it in the trunk of probably any car. That's what I said last time, and I couldn't, but this one actually is probably one that you could actually stick in any trunk of a car, because it's tiny. I mean, it's definitely big enough for me to ride, but like it's compact, like it's super thin, very minimalist looking bike. And it was designed like that to be light. I mean, this bike is freaking light, and it does have a cool little handle here that you can just pick up the bike with. So that's kind of cool. Overall, very cool, practical bike so far. Obviously I have to get it out on the road and test it, which we'll do next. We'll take it out to the street, see how it looks riding around. Then I'll take you guys along for a first-person ride on this thing, and then I'll test the full range, and I will have to be pedaling on this one. You guys know how I do this. It's always just maxed out full throttle, no pedaling. But since this one I have to pedal, I will probably just pedal the minimum amount to make the motors kick on at pedal assist 5, and we'll just see how it does. So let's get this thing out to the street. I'm actually pretty excited to ride this thing. It's nothing crazy, but it's actually a very unique bike, so I'm definitely excited to take this thing out. Something I almost forgot to mention is look how cool these keys are. They're so compact. Look at this. You could stick this in your wallet if you wanted to. Pretty cool. Now, obviously, you don't need to use the keys to actually ride the bike. The key is just to remove the battery and So you probably wouldn't realistically use this too much, but even so, I mean, very cool. And I know it's super cheap to make keys like this, but it's so much cooler than a normal key. Another thing I'll mention really quick is I do appreciate that they labeled their chargers. A lot of e-bikes just have a generic charger that has no labels on them, and I have to end up labeling them just to keep track of the different chargers. But this one has a logo, so I don't have to label it. I know it's a small detail, but I do appreciate that. All right, let's take the Honbike out for its first ride. Let's get my first initial impressions. All right, I have no clue how to work this thing, so I'm just gonna turn pedal assist all the way up to 5. Definitely feels I don't know. This is, you know what, I'm just gonna save it. I'm gonna ride it for a little bit and then I'll kind of tell you my thoughts. My first impression is that the pedaling, obviously this isn't like some high-speed bike or something. The pedaling, it seems like it's, if you're riding a normal bike with gears and everything, because this is a shaftless, or this is a shaft-driven bike, it feels like you're in like gear number 3 maybe on a bike. So it's like super easy to pedal, but you don't get going super fast by the time you're pedaling like a madman, you know what I'm saying? Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, you do have pedal assist. Pedal assist is keeping me at about 15.5 miles per hour. That's what they said it tops out at, and it is holding steady at 15.5. So that being said, this isn't some kind of crazy high performance machine. I mean, it's a 250 watt motor, 36 volt, 6 amp hour battery, and it doesn't have a throttle on it. It doesn't have a twist throttle or thumb throttle. This is just a bell. It might look like a throttle, but it's just a bell. But yeah, overall, my first impressions are it's really not a bad ride. It's not too bumpy. Yeah, it's actually not too bad. And obviously this is a nicer road here. Let me actually get onto a different road. Maybe it'll be different. All right, now this is pedal assisted right here. I will say I'm not like a huge fan of the no throttle. I prefer, and I know people hate on me a lot, but I prefer to just not pedal, you know? Especially if you're pedaling like super fast just to get the bike to top out. I feel like there's a better way to do this, you know? Like, I don't want to be doing this. And it's not like my legs are actually working. It's just kind of like pointless, you know, flailing my legs up and down just to make the motor work. It's like I'm going so slow and I'm pedaling so hard. I probably look like some kind of silly person, you know, who doesn't know how to shift the gears on his bike. But initial impression is that it's a cool bike. I mean, like, there's a lot of cool little engineering things on it. Very cool. You can talk about it with people and be like, oh yeah, this is a pretty unique bike here. But that's pretty much the extent of it. I mean, the performance is nothing crazy. It's unique that it's a shaft driven bike, but like, it's not very fast and you're flailing your legs like a crazy person trying to get to 15 miles per hour assisted by the electric motor. Looks like we're already at 78% battery. I started out this ride about a mile ago at 100%. I might even just do the range test right now while we're talking. I can't remember what they estimated the range was. I think it was around 20 miles or something, mid 20 miles. That's what they estimated. A lot of manufacturers, sellers like to inflate that spec a little bit. So we'll see what we actually get. I've gone 1 mile and we're down a quarter battery already. Oh boy. All right, I stand corrected. I am pedaling a lot less and it's still assisting me to about 15 miles per hour. But even so, it's like, I don't want to be pedaling because it doesn't feel like I'm not actually helping it. So, I don't know. I just feel like there should be a throttle on it. This is definitely a slower cruising bike because it's just one gear, obviously. And it's not geared for a decent top speed. Like at 10 miles per hour, your legs are already pedaling super fast. And this is on pedal assist 5. So this is the fastest it's gonna get you. Now, just thinking about it, I feel like this is probably one that they expect you to just throw in your car when you're going on trips to the beach or something, and you're just gonna be riding at low speeds with a bunch of people anyway. I mean, that would be a great use for it. Oh, frick, I guess it's my turn, huh? I mean, I guess that would be a great use for it. Right here, obviously, I'm wanting it to be fast as if you're commuting to work on this thing, you know? I don't think that's its intended purpose. And again, the bike is cool. It looks cool. It's definitely super unique. It's definitely like it's definitely like a bike you can talk about if somebody walks up and asks about it. For commuting, I don't know, man. I'm so biased. My reviews are so biased now because I've ridden such awesome bikes and such fast bikes that if I get on one that goes 20 miles per hour, the legal speed limit for an e-bike, it just feels so slow to me. Like, it's not super impressive to me, whereas somebody who's never ridden an e-bike, this would be like super awesome, you know what I'm saying? But the torque sensor on it is actually pretty, I mean, it's nice. Like, you can feel it's a very refined system as far as like the software goes and the components goes. Anyway, that's my initial impression. I am kind of just going my normal route right now. I feel like I'm gonna kill this thing at some point here fairly soon. I've already gone about 2 miles or so, 2.5 miles, and we're still at 71%, so maybe just the top end goes faster, and then in the middle, like any modern battery pack does, the top end is always jumps down really fast, and then the middle is where you get all your actual juice. Maybe that's the case for this one too. Maybe I will get 20 miles out of it. I'll bring you guys back when I'm actually like done doing a full range test, and we'll just talk about what kind of specs I got. It's definitely, it feels very intuitive. Just when you are coming to a stop like this and then you start pedaling again, it assists you based on how hard you're pedaling. So if you barely want to get going, it almost feels like you're on a normal bicycle. But if you really want to launch it, as hard as you press, the torque sensor actually measures that and puts out as much power and energy to match that to the motor as you need. So it feels good. I mean, for what it is, it feels really nice. And going through a parking lot actually gives me more of a healthy respect. I'm probably not going to go on the real street. Yeah, see, it's actually pretty intuitive. It's like I wanted to pedal and get up to speed as quick as I just did, and it did exactly that. Obviously, it has the little thumb bell on it, and another cool thing about this bike is how small it is. So if you fold it all the way down, I think this one has a latch, and you push it on this side like that. All right, so it's light too. It's like 40 pounds or something. And yeah, so there you have it, like super compact. So let's get out to the street really quick. I want to show you guys how it actually looks when I'm riding it, that kind of thing. So let's get it out to the street, just see how this thing looks and how it feels and how it works. So this is a pedal assist only bike. I already mentioned that there's no physical throttle on it. You can't just ride it like a motorcycle like a lot of other e-bikes, but it does have a torque sensor in it. So basically it measures however hard you're pressing to pedal. It assists you according to how hard you're pushing. Anyway, with that in mind, I'm gonna be pedaling this entire time just because I can't not pedal. So, all right, so let's see how it does. Brake test. Not bad, about like every other e-bike. The brakes work, the motor works, it all works. Obviously, I am the type that likes to ride these like a motorcycle. If it's an electric bike, I just want to just go. I don't want to have to pedal all the time. But this feels very natural for what it is. Again, I feel like it's like a beach cruiser type vibe kind of bike. Where you're just in groups of people and you're just pedaling slow, taking things, you know, more casually. It does great for that kind of riding. It tops out at 15.5 miles per hour as well, so nothing crazy. Anyway, it feels nice. All right, I just got back from killing it. Basically, it's at 8% right now. You guys can see there's 14.4 miles on the odometer. I will say that it's stop assisting me like at 10%, at about 13.5 miles or so. So I'll say 13.5 miles is how much you actually get with electric assist. I was basically full on pedaling the rest of the way when it was down to like 5% when I was riding. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah. Well, that is the Honbike. Overall, a very cool, casual kind of bike for just cruising around, taking on vacations, throwing in your car, going somewhere. And overall, I definitely am satisfied with it. I honestly don't know the price, what it is right now. I'm sure I put it in the title, or I'll put it right here or something. But my genuine thoughts is that it's a nice, casual bike. I wouldn't want to ride on it for too long. I found the seat after sitting on it for about an hour or so was a little bit uncomfortable. Pretty much like any other bicycle seat, they all become uncomfortable after about an hour. Doesn't matter how cushy they are. I also wish that this bike had a physical throttle on it. I personally am one that doesn't like to pedal too much, and you're pedaling too fast for only doing 15 miles per hour, in my opinion. But really, that's my only actual complaint with this bike. It is a bike that people will ask you about, and you can definitely talk about all the unique things and all the cool engineering that is on it. And it felt fine riding. I'm 6'3". Obviously, it's not a huge bike. It's definitely made to be foldable, super compact, just so you could take it somewhere if you want to. But I felt like it fit fine, and I'm a pretty tall dude. So there you guys have it. That is the Honbike. If you guys could smash that like button if you found this informative or just kind of cool. It really does help out the channel. So I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.